3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ken Rampersaud Show on Island Zone Radio and Facebook Live. Yes, welcome to the Ken Rampersaud Show for the first time in New York City and on Island Zone Radio and Facebook Live. I want to take this time to welcome each and every one to you on this program tonight. It's a beautiful day here in New York.
Christ held me in his arms and gave his love to me. Yeah, gave me my heart's desire. His love enfolds me. His love protects me, and I'm so thankful. Now I am his. If time would stand still and keep me here this way, you know what? Lord, I was satisfied just being here with you. Lord knows you set my heart on fire, 'cause I know you're here. My body and soul belong to you. Lord, I'm so thankful that I am yours. I'm praising God all the time, praising God all the while. Yes, I belong to you, and you belong to me. Yes, we're together. If that's enough for you, it's enough for me. If time would stand still and keep me here this way, you know what, Lord, I was satisfied just being here with you. There's no explaining the love we share. It's just between us two. I can't stay away from you. You won't stay away from me. It's where I belong. And right now, I'm praising God all the time, praising God all the while. Yes, I belong to you, and you belong to me. Lord, we're together. If that's enough for you, it's enough for me. And I just want to sing, I'm praising God all the time,
That's right, guys. Good afternoon, a very pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you, and welcome to Island Zone Radio, the Ken Rampersaud Show. Oh, this has been in the making for a long, long time, and I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in with me tonight. No, it's not a religious program, but I'm very thankful for all the blessing that God has bestowed upon me in my journey. And so I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Please do share this page. Today's program is going to be about me and you guys. I'm going to share my program with you and share my story with you guys. And next week we will start with regular programming where we'll be doing some interviews and so on. Okay. Let's start. Before I start the program, I'd like to say thank you very much to my aunt Delari Sigobin, who is from Hartford City, Connecticut. You know, in 1990, in fact, 1989, I asked my aunt to bring me to the United States of America, and she did it. She brought me here so many years ago, and I'm so thankful and grateful to her for doing that for me. She gave me a beautiful life, and took that opportunity, and I ran with it. I run a marathon, and here am I today. So, my dear Aunt Dolores Sigobin from Hartford City, Connecticut, I want to say thank you very much. I could not have used a better forum to say thank you, and God bless you. You have been a tower of support for all of us, all your family in Guyana and elsewhere. Also, I would like to say thank you very much to my wife, Gita Rampersad, for allowing me to be in her life. Without her, I don't know what life would have become. She brings so much joy and happiness into my life. Also to my sons, Ken, Kevin, and Rajiv Nandalal. I inherited Rajiv Nandalal into my life, and he has been a tower of support to me and with my birds and everything that I do. Also, I would like to say thank you very much to our DJ, Mr. Arvin Decadenot. As you guys may not know him, he came from Guyana just a couple months ago. And you know what? After he came here, he came from Guyana a couple of months ago. And you know what? He have took this studio business in such a great way. He's our DJ. He's playing songs. He's learning about this program and how we can do it. Also, I can't say enough thank you to the man himself, Mr. DJ Fest, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be on the radio. If I be very honest with you guys, about 1 year ago, DJ Fest asked me, and I asked him to, you know what, if I can get on the radio, and he said yes, and we decided, you know what, I'll go on the radio. And guess what? He waited for me nearly 1 year to get on this program. I was a little reluctant. I was waiting because I really wanted to judge a United States National Board show in Chicago, and you know what? He waited on me. DJ Fest, you are a kind and humble guy, and I pray that God will continue to bless you in every way. Also, to my Indra Sinanan, you know her, she's Dr. Indra Sinanan. When I was preparing to do the studio, she said, you know what, I'm going to help you financially, and she did so. And I know she's going to be someone who will be on this program. She's a cardiac specialist, and I'm so glad we work together at North General Hospital, and so we will team up to bring a lot of programs to you guys, especially the heart, part of the body that's really say a lot to me about this, Also to my dear co-host, Miss Shanaz Hussein. I cannot say enough about my co-host, Shanaz Hussein. Shanaz, I want to say thank you very much for allowing me to do this with you week after week. You are such a great person, a great soul, and you have been a great mentor to me. I could not have asked for a better mentor than you, Shanaz Hussein. I pray that God bless you too. Rita Singh, I want to say thank you very much, my dear, for all your support that you've given to me over the past weeks. And to our special viewers, I want to say, without you guys, you don't know how important you are to me and this program, and to Shanaz too. We want to say thank you guys for all your support, and please continue to support me and Shanaz and all that we do. It's such a great thing to know that I have so much support. And when I started to think about this program, how I'm going to do it, I thought of a couple of young ladies that I'm going to start with. And one of them is Gita. Gita Baldi. I want to say thank you very much for accepting my request. I know you've been on Facebook a lot, and you have been support. You have always sent positive messages, and thank you to Miss Harris. Thank you very much, Maria Harris. Thank you so much too. You have been a kind soul to me, always encouraging, and I cannot say enough to my dear friend who is all the way in Guyana, a very young soul, Miss Priya Prasad. You know, every year after year. Time after time, week after week, she keep writing me encouraging words, and I keep thinking of her so often. You know, her heart is at the right place, and I know that all what she wants to do is to get the opportunity to fly, and I really want to give her that platform and help her to grow and to do bigger things in Guyana. So if I haven't said your name, guys, please forgive me. During the program, I will do continue to say that. But after we're going to play some music, and after we play that music, I will start telling you how I get to this point from my birth in Guyana. So let's go for some music. Oh, before I go, let me say some to my friend. Thank you, Shanaz, for tuning in. I heard you guys say about the volume, so I just put my mouth a little closer. Sheila Mangar, thank you very much for tuning in. Sarah Daisy saying, I thank you so much for all your kind words that every day you send to me. Thank you so much. I see my son, Kevin Rampersaud, is listening. Nancy Feldman, thank you for tuning in. Our good friend Satishwar Prasad, thank you for tuning in. My friend all the way from England, Miss Bacadine Duncan Springer, thank you. And she said the volume 2, so we're working on that. Nancy Feldman, a fellow nurse, and we worked together many years. Thank you for tuning in. Our good friend, Miss Vanita Khan, thank you very much for tuning in. Let's see, Maria Harris, thank you. Sarah said, pleasant good afternoon to everyone locked in on especially our very own Ken Rampersaud, and welcome to Island Zone Radio. Thank you so much. Let's see, who else? I don't want to miss anybody. We see Kamla Paul Balde, all the way from Guyana. She is on Lenora on the west coast of Demerara. Thank you to my good friend, Miss, our Kanchan from Florida, Miss Girly Prasad. Thank you very much. And Girly, I really do like one of your songs, that one. I just listened to 2 of them today, and I just so fall in love with one of your songs, which we will play later on. My good friend, Miss Vina Turner, thank you for tuning in. It's such a blessing to have you on this program. To my neighbor on the left, Miss Debbie Roberts, thank you so much for tuning in to the Ken Rampersaud Show. I am gunning for this to be a difference. And, you know, like I said, and I was thinking, you know what, this is not a show about competition. This is not an entertainment show. This is a good show. I also want to say hello to Miss Maharani Dubey. Thank you for tuning in to this program. Very kind of you to tune in, and thank you for your support. Like I said before, this show that I have here, it's not about competition. We are not going to, we are not racing each other. I really want to, because of my over 25 years of nursing, I just want to share some of my knowledge, along with so many friends that I know that would be able to tune in with me and to come on here every week after week to talk about this. I see Mobina Dalu, thank you very much for tuning in. And our good friend, Mr. Jamir Mohammed, he said, congrats, Ken. And thank you very much, Jamir, for all of your support. You have been a kind soul all this time. So let's go for a nice song. I know that you guys will enjoy it, okay?
खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में चल रही है तेरी सोहबत में खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में। ये तूने क्या किया, ये तूने क्या किया, डूबा मैं दिल की जन्नत में। खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में, चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में। जो खालीपन था, जो सूना मन था, वो खिल उठा है जाने खुदा। बदल रहा है हर एक मौसम, बेचैन दिल का जाने खुदा, जाने खुदा, जाने खुदा। तुमसे मिलके मैंने जाना, जोश क्या जुनून है क्या, भूल बैठा सब कुछ मैं तो, चैन क्या सुकून है क्या, चाहत में। खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में, चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में। खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में, चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में। जो बढ़ रहा है दिलों का रिश्ता, वो बढ़ता जाए है ये दुआ। टूटे कभी ना ये सिलसिला, अब सारी उम्र बस है ये दुआ, है ये दुआ, है ये दुआ। तुमसे मिलके मैंने जाना, रंग क्या क्या, भूल बैठा सब कुछ मैं तो, छाँव क्या धूप क्या, चाहत में। खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में, चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में। खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में, चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में।
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. I see Shanaz saying she's crying. Shanaz, you got to stop. You have to help me go through this show today because it's kind of emotional for me. This has been a journey for a long time, and you are my angel. I always believe in angels on earth, and you are one of them that you brought me through all of this. And to this part where I can go, and I know now I have to take the baton, and I'm going to run with it. So let's talk about me a little bit. I'm from Lenawa on the west coast of Demerara. There's so much stories I got to tell, but like I said, I hope I can pull them through. And my mom, she was a special kind of lady. And the most important thing that I remember about my mom is that the pride that she took in bringing up her children. And when I look at me people ask me, how come you do all of this? And I said, because of my mom. She was a smart woman. She was a seamstress from Guyana. And, when hard time come, she was the one that's helping all of us, her children and so on. It's such a good thing to have a good mother around. No matter what went on wrong, the mother was a good one, a good thing. I'm a little distracted, so I'm so sorry to tell you to be all over the place. But you know what? Let me get back to where I'm at. I want to say good afternoon, Maria Harris. Good afternoon. Gita Baldio says that Kenneth is a great guy. Yes. And he will pull through the show. I will pull through the show. I'm a fighter. Good evening, Miss Harry, Maureen Ramcharan. Thank you for tuning in. So let's go on. I'm going to try one second. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to say something there. So my dad was a hardworking guy from Lenora on the west coast of Demerara. The sad thing is that he could not read and write. He didn't know how to spell his name, but so good and so glad that that his children bettered him. It is such a beautiful thing. My dad went through a hard time in his life. His mother died when he was a young kid, and no one was there to help him. Because of so many problems. He and his brother went to the back dam, actually, I heard, and they had to eat mangoes and so on to survive. And that really a difficult thing sometimes for me to understand. So, that's what really made the guy that I am really today. And you know what? Some of the things that he did to me was a reflection of what went through to him. He did give me a hard time in life. And so I'm so glad that with all the hard time that he gave me, I was managed to able to be someone in life. And I was always an advocate in Guyana for my family, and I don't know why from the very beginning, my dad, although so much hard time he gave, I was always fighting with him. I could remember one time Dad said he was fighting for my mom, not physical fighting. He was arguing with her for a cast net, and when he was asking for a cast net, I turned to him and said, Dad, why are you arguing for your cast net? And you know what? He was sharpening a cutlass. And as he was sharpening that cutlass, I was telling him what he's doing with that cutlass. He was sharpening the cutlass and to cut fish. And I said, Dad, why you arguing? I tell you, I'm so distracted. I'm so sorry, with a spoon. And the thing is that when I say that, he took the cutlass and he pelted at me. And when he pelted at me, I jumped right on that cutlass, and it severed my actually tendon on the right foot. It is so sad that I end up in a hospital after 3 days, and me and my dad always fighting with each other, but not physically fighting, because I was just the argumentative child. And so that's how with him and me. And, he always tell me things, and I don't want to put him in a bad position, not a bad spot, like a lot of parents in Guyana, where they say, he used to tell me things like, it's better I planted a mango tree before I made you as a son, or I bet I plant a coconut tree before I made you as a son. And I used to worry about those things. But you know what? I came to forgive my dad, and it's not about him, but I'm in the mood of talking, and because so many people are committing suicide and thinking it's the end of the road. It is not the end of the road. And I remember when my dad got sick in Guyana. In fact, when I went to Guyana to visit him one time, and I showed him my picture, and he said, I don't want to see your picture. I want to see my other son pictures. And those things really bothered me. And when I heard that he was sick in Guyana, I jumped on the first flight to Guyana, and I went to the hospital to take care of him. And when I went to take care of Dad, you would not believe it, that my eyes like two pipe open. And I said to myself, my God, you treated me so bad, but you know what? I'm going to take care of you. I will be the son who will take care of you. And I did all take care of him to the last until that he died, and I buried him in Guyana, and then I came back to New York. Let's go to another song while I compose myself, and we will chit-chat. we will talk, okay?
Natural beauty, you know. Yeah. No, I've never been someone shy until I seen your eyes. Still I had to try. Yeah. Oh yes, let me get my words right and then approach you. Woman, I'll treat you like a man is supposed to. You'll never have to cry. No, I know everyone can relate to when they find a special someone. And she's royal, yeah, so royal. And I want her in my life. I never knew anyone so one of a kind. No, the way she moves to her own beat, she has the qualities of a queen. She's a queen. Ooh, ooh, what a natural beauty. No need no makeup to be a cutie. She's a queen. She's a queen. And when they ask what a good woman's made of, she's not afraid and ashamed of who she is. She's royal, yeah, so
That's royal. She is royal.
in my life, I never knew anyone so one of a kind until the night that I seen your eyes. My queen, so supreme. I can see it in her eyes, the way she smiles. Hey, yes I know the king and queen crown same time, so I'd never leave your side. Just stick with me through the trial times. Oh, and she says she no mind. Alright, I know good man is hard to find, and she can't about that join no line. That's why she has no ties at this time. Yeah, I know many men are trying, but she needs to be more than wine and dine, because she's royal, yeah, so royal, and I want her in my life. I never knew anyone so divine. The way she moves to her own beat, she has the qualities of a queen, so supreme. Ooh, ooh, what a natural beauty. No need no makeup to be a cutie. She's a queen, so supreme, yeah. And when they ask what a good woman's made of, she's not afraid and ashamed of who she is. She's royal, yeah, so royal, and I want her in my life. I never knew anyone so one of a kind. No, no, the way she moves to her own beat, she has the qualities of a queen, my Nubian queen. Ooh, ooh. Hey, we got it going on. Hey.
That's right, guys. That's right. Let me know if you guys are hearing me. We have mic problem. Fix this in just a minute. So let me know in your chat if you guys are hearing me. So welcome to the Ken Rampersaud Show here in New York. My name is Ken. All right. So let's go back. I composed myself and let's go. You guys, are you hearing me? Here with me. Yes, yes, we are on track now. Let's go. Welcome to Island Zone Radio. This is the Ken Rampersaud Show. And just bear with me, please. It's kind of hard. In fact, my first show is kind of you're gonna be tough because I'm telling my story, but it's gonna get better. I promise you. And next week we'll go to regular scheduled programming, like today. So I'm remembering so many things that happened. So let's talk about me now in school. So going to school, I don't know what was wrong with my head, but my head was so hard. I could not learn anything at school. And so when I wrote exams in school, I failed all my exams. I wrote 3 subjects. I wrote history, biology, and English, and I failed everything in school. And so I remember my dad was saying, you know what, I'm going to sharpen the cutlass. I got a cutlass, and you'll be a cane cutter. And in my mind, I'm saying to him, in my mind, I'm not going to be a cane cutter. I'm going to be somebody. I'm going to have a title behind my name, despite all that I failed, if you know what I mean. And so I went to Form 5 in high school, and you know what? I was an athlete. I used to run. I used to jump. Everything that I did, I was a sprinter. I got first place. I actually even went for trials for the nationals in Guyana, but I didn't end up being any athlete in Guyana. So in high school, I remember those were the days that you were embarrassing because you don't know. I could have read and write, but I couldn't pass the tests that the teachers were giving me, and that was a sad thing. But I wanted to learn, and I went to Red Cross in Guyana, and I think that's where I was driven. I wanted to learn, and so when I went to Red Cross, I actually did home nursing and first aid, and I passed those tests. And that was a good springboard for me. Guyana Red Cross Society. I became a section leader. I started to teach Red Cross in Guyana. Actually, I closed the program because I was leaving for nursing school. So you know what? After I finished school, I always, in my dream, I wanted to be a nurse. And but because I didn't write the test and I didn't pass any subject, it was hard for me to get into nursing school. And so I said, you know what, let me go do the aptitude test at the Georgetown Hospital School of Nursing. And I was lucky that I passed that test to become a nurse. And so I started nursing school in Guyana, and I closed the Guyana Red Cross Society. And that is something that I spent many sleepless nights thinking how I can open back the Red Cross on the west coast of the Marara. That was dear to me. That's something that given me the opportunity to do something for myself. So now that I passed the exam to get into nursing school, and guess what? I was going to the preaching school to become a preacher because, my mother always makes sure that we go to church and we pray and everything. And so that's what happened. So after 2 weeks in Bible school, I said, you know what? I don't think I was ready for Bible school because I was a little wicked boy then. And I said, I wasn't ready for this because in my heart, I'm saying, if I'm going to be a preacher, I want to do things rightly. I don't want to commit too much sins, if you know what I mean. So the story gets a little better and interesting. I think I've passed that stage of the hurt part. And so guess what? After I pass and I get into nursing school, I remember the first day the teacher was telling me, teaching the class, and they said, man is a biopsychosocial being. And I said, oh my Jesus God, what is this now I'm hearing? That man is a biopsychosocial being. I said, this word is so big. How would I be able to complete nursing school? But you know what? I prayed hard and I studied hard. I remember going to work, and I had my flashcards, and I was like writing down things, and I was like talking to myself from the Stellan to nursing school. And every day it was a going thing. I used to sleep so late at night. I really wanted to this. I want to do good at nursing school. So I studied hard. And you know what? After 6 months, they choose the student of the best student for 6 months. And I didn't get best students, but I thought in my mind I was one of the best students. And so the guy, I don't know why I was so brave. I went to O'Neill Atkins, who got the best student in the first 6 months. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I really deserve that student, best student. And he said, really? And I said, yes. And I said, look at who's going to get it at the end of our 2 years. And I remember going to get into nursing school and then study hard. And every time I go to work on one of the units at the hospital, a lot of nurses would write good things about me, about my pleasant personality. Mr. Rampersaud has a very pleasant personality. He gets along well with his colleagues and, take care of the patients and so on. And guess what? Every day as I was going to nursing school, I had so much pride that I see all the clothes and a nice watch that I wanted to buy for graduation. And when come graduation, like 4 days before graduation, as I was walking down to in Georgetown, I had my money to buy my everything, and then guess what? 3 guys hold me and rob me all my money. And I had no money to go buy the uniform. So then I ended up going home and tell my mom, I said, listen, you have to give me money to buy my uniform so I could graduate, you know what I'm saying? And that was kind of a funny story. But I cried like, I don't know why I cried, but I'm still a crybaby. I went home and cried because I get robbed. I was like 19, 20 years old. These guys laughing in the studio. But that was so funny. And guess what? So now graduation day coming now, and I took my sister with me. It's so real to me. And so my sister and my 2 sisters came to graduation, and they start to say that, you know what, here we have the best graduating student for batch 36, high scholastic record. I still have that paper, high attendance record, high everything. And I sat there, and then they called my name. They said, Mr. Hiram Rampersaud, the best graduating student for batch 36. And I could tell you, my sisters, after the graduation, they said to me, they said, you know what? We were so proud of you that we put our purse down and we had to clap for you because we were so proud of you that getting the best graduating student. And before, you know what was good too? During when I did my exam for nursing in Guyana, while I was walking in the class, I was working in the operating theater, and they said all the students for batch 36 needs to come to classroom now that the results is out. And as I was walking in, I remember one of the sisters says to me, she said, you know, Mr. Rampersaud, can you read the list of successful candidates? And I tell you, when I reached my name, when I glanced at people, I did not see my name, so I get a little worried. And when I reached my name, I could have barely said, Hiram Rampersaud. And I passed the first time. So that's good. And my message to the young children, I could only hope that the young children and you young guys could listen to this story. Because you know what? After I failed so many times, I was the valedictorian for my nursing class. And after 2 years of working in Guyana, I got an award of meritorious services. And what was interesting too, I wanted to work in the emergency room. I had the guts. I was always moving. I had the quickness inside of me. And, you know, we all went to the matron's office to say where we want to go and work. And so when it was my time, when I said to the matron, who was Matron Nelson then, she said, when she got to me, she said, Mr. Rampersaud, I'm so sorry that you have already been taken. You cannot go where you want to go. You will have to go where the sister choose for you to go. And so that's how I end up in psychiatry, in the psychiatry unit at the Georgetown Hospital. But look at all things who work well. I actually, I spent so much years in the United States working in mental health, and so all that was good for me. And you know what the other story is, that while I was working there, a couple of weeks before I head to the United States, a couple of sisters was making rounds at the hospital in the psychiatric unit, and as I was sitting down, they came and they see how I was working, and they said, you know, Mr. Rampersaud, this is the wrong unit for you to work. We need to take you to the emergency room to work. And I smiled, and I said to them, okay, but I knew that I was leaving Guyana for the United States. So again, my message to the young people, this thing that what we're going through, it's going to pass. You're going to pass all of this. Don't worry. Stay on and fight on. And that was my nursing career in Guyana. I didn't really want to leave Guyana and come to the United States because, you know what, I love my country. I still love my Guyana. And it saddened me to see all that's going on. But let's go to some music, and we will come back. And I'm going to read some of your comments when we come back. So bear with us. Let's go.
Glass window, this is what they do day to day, just to get a little food to eat, oh yeah. And then you have others wearing suit and tie, work a good 9 to 5, and take it for granted that they're living a better life. I say the color of our skin don't mean a thing if we do good or commit to sin. We're all judged by the the same. Jah is his holy name. So let's all be aware.
Yes, let's see. I like to see. I'm so glad that Bibi Ahmad tuned in. Such a hard worker for suicide in Guyana. My dear sister, I hope that you continue the fight with suicide in Guyana. Oh, when I listened to this song, I felt very good. And I'm so glad that we crossed paths, my dear sister. This is the girl herself, Miss Girlie Passat, all the way from Florida. Let's go right from the top. Bobby, they said a good wife is you have a good life.
मेरा नाम रख दिया, नाम रख दिया, मेरा नाम रख दिया. पहली नजर में सनम मेरे दिल को चुराया. ओ तुमने पहली नजर में सनम मेरे दिल को चुराया.
कोई दुनिया से मुझे अपना बनाया.
बिना देखे तुझे अपने
चाहत की चांदनी मेरे आंखों में बस गई ओ तेरी चाहत की चांदनी मेरे आंखों में बस गई
ये खुशबू तेरी जिस्म की मेरी सांसों में बस गई
तू मेरी आरज़ू तू है मेरी वफा
जिंदगी में कभी अब न होंगे जुदा ऐसी दीवानगी देखी नहीं कहीं मैंने इसलिए जान जाना दीवाना तेरा नाम रख दिया तेरा नाम रख दिया हाँ नाम रख दिया तेरा नाम रख दिया
मेरा नसीब है जो मेरे यार ने हंस के प्यार से बेखुदी में दीवाना मेरा नाम रख दिया मेरा नाम रख दिया हाँ नाम रख दिया मेरा नाम रख दिया
That's right, guys. Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio in New York. This is in Queens Village. So glad I am reading some of your comments. I want to say hello to Bobby Hiralal. I'm so sorry, and I'm so thankful that you tune in to this program today. Keep tuning into my program every Sunday. I see Joshua from Guyana. He tuned in. Thank you very much. Jaga, Parvati Jaga, thank you for tuning into this program. Like I said, this program will be a different program. This is not going to be an entertainment program moving forward. We are not going to be in competition with anyone. I just want to share my story today, and I'm sharing my story today. And like I said, moving forward, this will be like a program that will enlighten you guys. I'm going to help uplift you guys, a place of empathy and all the love that we can share with each other. And there will be not too much fighting around. This is not what I want to promote on this radio show. It's about peace, love, and harmony. DJ Dia Roy, beautiful done, girly. I must say you're very talented. And you know, I said yes. When I heard Girly's song, I was so surprised. She and Vishal Munisar sing that song. So that's a beautifully done. I am so proud of you guys. So let's talk. The story get a little bit a little harder, but I'm sure I'm going to manage to do this. So coming to the United States, after I came to United States, I stayed 6 months in Hartford. I was unable to get some work there because of the circumstances. And then I moved to New York. And what was the sad thing is that I didn't really had anybody in New York. I have some friends who I went to school with and some far cousin. And when I got to New York here, unfortunately, the guy where my aunt put me to live with, he put me out after like a week or 2 weeks after. And I was in New York, the cold New York one night, and I stand in nowhere of New York. We're nowhere to go. And I just called one of my friend, and I went to one of my cousins for 2 days. And, you know, she said to me, Ken, I'm so sorry, but I can't keep you because my landlord wouldn't want you to be here. And so I left. I don't know what to say, really. I was so hurt and confused, and I don't have my mother here. I don't have nobody here. So that was a sad piece of things that went through. And it was not easy because I was 25 years old, nobody to talk to. You know, back in them days, not like now that you can call Guyana how much times a week. Then you could only call Guyana like once a month or so on. And so I actually stayed with my cousin for 2 days. Then I end up going to another cousin, and I used to sleep on her. And I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not talking bad about anybody. I'm just sharing my story. And then I had to sleep on a sofa, like with plastic on it. We were like two people sofa, and I'm a big guy, so it was tough. But you know what? I didn't decide I was not going to go home. I wanted a better life for myself and my family. And after that, one of my friend's mother, actually, she heard that I was going through a hard time here in New York, and she's older now, and she said, you know what, somebody need to go get Kenneth and bring him here. And so I went to that house, and it started bad for the first day because it was sad. Some of the things that I really go through, but I managed to stay there, and I got a job and start working. It wasn't easy. The place was cold. I didn't know about this coldness. I didn't have somewhere to really put my head to sleep like some people are so lucky to have. But luckily that I was a guy who had I still have a good personality. And a lot of people fall in love with me, how I work. And I was doing security guard job for like a couple months because I didn't have any paper to work. And so I was working. I remember, and I'm not saying this because I don't want any sympathy, really. I'm just saying this so that because, of how I see people killing themselves and the things that people do. I remember I leave Hartford City with $35 in my pocket. And when I got to New York, I took the money that I had and buy uniform. And I barely left with any money. And went to buy lunch, or when I'm hungry, or when I was hungry for because, when you start working in New York, you have to wait until 2-3 weeks before you could get your salary. So I didn't have really any money much to buy breakfast and lunch. And the pride in me, I did not want to go borrow any money from anyone. And so when I was hungry, I used to go in the bathroom and just drink some water and move on and go back to my post. And then I would go buy a cup of coffee for 50 cents. It used to sell for then. And you buy a bagel, so $1. So I always tell people, count your blessing. When you come to the United States and you get somewhere to rest your head and you get a plate of food, you be grateful for that. I didn't have that kind of luck to just I'm going to my brother or my sister. I had nowhere to go. But you know what? I still stick around in the United States for so many years. And then a lot of things could happen to me. Some I can't say because of probably
it's 6 o'clock
legal issues. But I managed to get a work permit to work in the United States. And, I will tell people that, I was a nurse back in Guyana. And everybody used to tell me one thing, Ken, study hard and pass your tests and get back into nursing. And I tell you what, I studied hard. I was doing my supervisor, who was Sister Scott in Guyana. She told the vice president of nursing here at North General Hospital that, by the way, I see Miss Jones who was watching. Miss Jones, thank you very much for tuning into my program. She was one of my head nurse. And if you're listening, just thank you very much for all you do too, and for your mentorship at North General. And so she told the vice president, I know this good nurse from Guyana, and I would like for you to help him. And so I went and I did the nurse's aid test, and I passed the test. And I started to work as a nurse's aide at North General Hospital. But before that, I was doing security guard. I was fetching furniture. I was doing anything that I could make any money. But you know what? One story that I just missed to tell you guys, I don't know why. After 1 year, I got to the United States. Unfortunately, my mother, she had an aneurysm. And within 6 days, she passed away in Guyana. And Jesus Christ of Nazareth, you guys would not believe. I was here all by myself in a room. I had nobody really to comfort me, to console me, to say I'm sorry. I was in a room alone, and all I was thinking about is my mother, the pride that she took in raising her children, and the pride she took in raising me. And I was, in my mind, I was on the funeral day, I remember in that attic, I bought a candle, I light that candle, I buy a white shirt and a black pants, and I sit in that room all by myself. And I was taking myself, like I said, okay, 3:30, they're going to leave home now. 4 o'clock, they're going to bury her. 4:30, they're going to start putting dirt and so on. That's how I end up with that. But you know what, let's go to some music, and as soon as we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Not easy.
What's going to happen here? You get
Crazy. Oh mahi, oh mahi, mahi mainu chadiyo na, ke tere bin dil nahi lagna. Jitne bhi tu chalna hai, mahi main tere piche piche chalna. मुझे सकती नहीं मैं जी सकता नहीं कोई दूसरी मैं शर्ता भी रखता नहीं क्या तेरे बाजों.
You are listening to the Ken Rampersaud Show on the Island Zone Radio in New York.
Boasty, Godfather, I'm a bass heavy. Man a half from the man a boasty. Fling a camera rhythm like a touch. Boasty, house on the coast G. My music so loud you can't hear me. Some boys them can't test me. I'm on a magical journey.
दिल विच तेरे यारा मैनू रहने दे आँखों से आँखों वाली गल कहने दे धड़कन दिल दिए तेनू पहचाने मेरा है मैं हूँ तेरी रब दिए जाने
पूरे सकती नहीं मेरा सकता नहीं तेरे बिन यार और जीते सकता नहीं क्या तेरे बाँचों मेरा
2, 1
Everybody रंग तेरा चढ़या पे के हुर कोई रंग नयो चढ़ना सचिया मोहब्बत
Boasty, Godfather, I'm a bass heavy. Man a half from the man a boasty. Fling a camera rhythm like a touch. Boasty, house on the coast G. My music so loud you can't hear me. Some boys them can't test me. I'm on a magical journey.
Mahi mainu chadiyo na, ke tere bin dil nahi lagna. Jitne bhi tu chalna hai, mahi main tere piche piche chalna.
पीछे चलना
मुझे सकती नहीं मैं जी सकता नहीं कोई दूसरी मैं शर्ता भी रखता नहीं क्या तेरे बाजों मेरा
2, 1
सचिया मोहब्बत दे माही किते और नयो मिलना जीते भी तू चलना आई मैं तेरे पीछे पीछे चलना
पीछे चलना
ओ माही दे ओ माही दे
Boasty, Godfather, I'm a bass heavy. Man a half from the man a boasty. Fling a camera rhythm like a touch. Boasty, house on the coast G. My music so loud you can't hear me. Some boys them can't test me. I'm on a magical journey.
I'll be.
Yes, you're welcome. Welcome back. Welcome to Island Zone Radio, the Ken Rampersaud Show. And so let's continue this conversation. Sandra Kishore, thank you for tuning in to my dear sister Pamela Jeffers. She just lost her cousin back in Guyana, and I'm so sorry. My deepest sympathy to you. Bobby Hiralal, thank you for tuning in. Nayan, thank you very much for tuning in all the way from Guyana. Harry George, my good friend from Canada, I say thank you, and you're always encouraging me to ride along. Geeta Baldeo, my dear darling, thank you very much for tuning in. Yes, Girly Pasachet, I'll be coming to your program in New York when I visit Ken Rampersaud one of these days. You are welcome anytime. So let's go. Let's talk. I'm so sorry if I miss any one of you guys. Get my computer screen just freeze, but I know you guys can see me, and I'm trying to read off from my phone. So yes, after my mom died in Guyana and I could not attend her funeral, I thought the best thing that I can do is to stay here in New York and try to build a life for myself and my family. So that's what I did. And so I want to tell you a little bit about my nursing career here in Guyana. And I want to tell you guys, in the United States, I mean, but before I do that, I want to tell you guys, this program, like I said before, it's not about competition. I am not in competition anyone. I just want to share my story with you guys. So, you know what, we can make this a better world. A lot of us went through a lot of things that I am saying. A lot of people was raped and molested in the United States, especially leaving Guyana and come to this shore when you have no support and you have no one to turn to. I see my good friend, Mr. Suresh Sugrim. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks all you do for humanity and for all the women back in Guyana. Nadira Kumar, thank you very much. Good evening to you too. So let's talk. So here in New York, I started my nursing career in 1995. I start as a nurse's aide, and as I was working and I was studying. And luckily, in 1997, I started to work. I passed my exam. I passed my exam. Oh, yeah. I passed my exam back in Guyana. 1 second, I'm sorry. I killed my mic. Yes. You're welcome. Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show. Yes. So after I started to work at North General Hospital, I was very lucky. After I passed my state board exam the first time, I think that's what really changed my whole life in the United States. My life changed in the States as soon as I passed my exam. I get promoted. I was lucky that the vice president of nursing, Miss Pearl John Steele, she liked me. And after I was lucky in the cardiac unit, in the telemetry unit, there was a nurse that was going to retire, and that my VP then came and said, you know what, there's a nurse that's going to retire soon, and I want you to put in your application for that position, and I'll give you that position. And I'm so glad that she ever did this for me, because I went and I wrote my letter same time and I gave it to her, and I was lucky that I got through with that position to work as an LPN at North General Hospital. I was lucky. I worked on the cardiac unit and the general surgery unit for actually 10 years. And that's where I really get all my experience in nursing. And, I still ask God sometimes why I am still in Harlem working with the poor, with the underserved, with the drug addicted. Actually, I'm still working in Harlem for over 20 years. And so working at North General Hospital has been very good to me and my profession. I received all the awards in nursing. I was the LPN of the year. I got Meritorious Service Award. I got about five consecutive times. I got the Best Dressed Nurse for North General Hospital and Best Dressed Staff for North General Hospital. I received the Go Beyond Service Award at North General Hospital. So North General has been good to me, and I cannot ask for anything. I think I make myself very marketable at North General Hospital. They allow me to do a lot of things, and I was very lucky that I used to work up to now. So sad that the hospital closed its door in 10 years ago. When I put in 17 years of service at North General Hospital, but I cannot say enough how thankful I am to North General Hospital, that when I go to any place to work and I show my credentials and I show all the awards that I've received at North General Hospital, I get the job. I don't have to worry, and I'm lucky that I don't have to go to a lot of places to work. I'm always at different jobs for a long time. Service. 2 weeks ago, made 15 years at my other place in Harlem working. Also, I have extensive experience in detox and psychiatry here in New York. So, and you know what? I always thought in my mind that I would be an advocate for people who do drugs, and I want to help people do drugs, especially our Guyanese community. And I always tell people, children, don't start drugs, because I always say, when you do drugs, it's like a monkey on your back. Is that, you know what's gonna happen? You can stop doing drugs. It's so easy. It's a hard thing to do, to stop doing drugs. So don't start. So been very lucky that I start my nursing career here at North General Hospital, and where I get to do that. Let's see, and what's good now with all my experience, I thought, and I used to hear so much stories, and now I don't know why, but what's in my career and what I choose to do the rest of the balance of the year that's left with me, I want to serve humanity. I want to do that which is good. Actually, a couple of years ago, I said, you know what, when I heard so many things that was going on in Guyana, especially with suicide and suicide prevention, I said, you know what, I can jump in this and see what I could do to help. And so I always say to my mind, I want to help prevent suicide in Guyana and elsewhere, and I will try my very best to do what I could do in terms of helping with suicide. And then I hear so many abuse going on our beloved Guyana, men beating their wives, they're killing them. And so I jump on that bandwagon too, with Shanaz Hussein and was with the Caribbean Voice. And I said, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So I am teaming up with, whomever. So then again, I'm now learning about so much accidents in Guyana. And so I think for now, I'll probably focus on what I could manage, because I'm not doing this all alone. I will have so much of you guys help me. And the good thing is that I was kind of surprised, because, when you're poor, people don't want to pay attention to you. I was very lucky. Last year, I said, you know what, I want to go to Guyana and host a debating competition in Guyana about suicide. And that was lucky. Within 2 weeks, I put the message out on Facebook that I want some people to donate some money to me so I can help bring some of the awareness about suicide in Guyana. And so guess what? Within 2 weeks, my friends and some doctors and my colleagues and family, they donated. I received $4,250. And I have to tell you, I'm looking in the camera with that light there. Every cent that I collected, I donated back right in Guyana. I gave the Caribbean Voice $1,250. I gave the Guyana Nurses Association for their 90th anniversary, I gave them $1,000. And for the Georgetown School of Nursing, I gave another $1,000. And for the students who participated in the debating competition, which you guys will see sometime in the future, not too long. I want to bring that because guess what? When I went to Guyana and I witnessed these students were debating about suicide prevention, you would not believe it. My hair on my skin was crawling, if you know what I mean, that these girls was on fire. And I knew there that, you know what, we need this in Guyana. And I felt so good that I did that in Guyana and I was a part of it. So I'm glad, and I'm Guyana is on my mind. The only reason why I'm not in Guyana, I've already get the okay to go in Guyana to host a debating competition on domestic violence. The only reason I have not gone to Guyana as yet and ask any of you guys for any money is that with the politics in Guyana, they're killing so much in Guyana. So as soon as things get a little better, I'm hoping by March I could head back to Guyana and I could host a national debating competition on two things I want to do that's on my mind. One of them is domestic violence. Too many guys killing their wives and these things, and I want to really. What's on my mind for a couple of days? There's so many children, so many people dying on the road, so much minibus ending up in accident. And I start to wonder, what is the government doing about this? And about in the police too. When someone is going to stop and say to themselves, listen, enough is enough. And when one person can decide, and I believe one person can make a change, one person can make a difference. And I tell you, I am one person, I can make a difference. I call it that way. I call my own shots in life. I don't let anyone define Kenneth or Hiram Rampersad of who he is. I don't let your people yes, I'm a human being. Sometimes things bothered me. Sometimes I hear people say things. It bothers me. I still believe I'm the blackest crow there is. I will continue to fly as high as I can with God's grace and with yours, with you guys on my side. And I'm going to ask some of you guys to team up with me so we can really make a difference in our beloved Guyana. I know that we can make a difference. I believe we can make a change in Guyana. While we're going to get ready for another song, I want to say thanks to all you guys for tuning in tonight. I see 44 of you guys. I'm so glad because, I always used to believe one thing. I said, when you're poor, no one will pay attention to you. But I'm the one to reckon with. Like I said, I'm gunning for one of your best hosts and to make a difference on TV, actually on the radio. I'm not in competition with anyone, and I'm so glad I team up with my girl Shanaz Hussein, who actually with this I say the wind beneath my wings, and I have my friend in Florida too, Miss Singh, Rita Singh. Thank you so much for all your advice. I say to you guys, let me see if I can read. I'm sorry, I'm not reading your guys' comments. Also, I like to shout out to Miss, I don't know if she's still listening, but Neela Pawaru. I tell you, what a gentle soul. I'm so glad that I crossed paths with you. You are a beautiful soul. I'm so glad you're supporting me in all that I do. I never wanted to leave you guys. I swear to my God. I wanted to fight with you guys foot to foot, and we all support each other. But sometimes things doesn't go the way that we plan, but together we all can make a difference in our beloved Guyana. Joni Mangro, thank you for tuning in. Bobby Harilal, thank you very much. Roxanne, my dear sister. Roxanne Hamilton, Walker Hamilton. You know what? I have a beautiful story to share about her, which I can be brief. When my sister came to the United States many years ago and I ended up in problem, I could not believe that it is the girl Roxanne Hamilton that helped my sister in problems. And I could not believe, I always wonder, where is these girls that helped my sister? And guess what? She was the one who was listening to our program, and she heard that I said my name is Kenneth, and she remembered Kenneth, and then she remembered I said my sister from Canada, and she remembered my sister from Canada, and guess what? She contacted me, and what? It makes such a beautiful story that I hope that we get to cross path one day. My friend Ryan Jeffrey, like I said, I'm so glad that you have given me this platform to stand with, and all of us together, we can team up and make a better world. And Harry George said, you should let it out or it will haunt you. Talk to someone you're close to. You know what? The sad thing is, I hope I'm talking to you guys and hope that someday that I can really let it all out. But it's sad. It's kind of sad to, that human beings have to go through so many things. And that's why I want to join with you guys to continue the fight with suicide prevention in Guyana, domestic violence, and all these accidents that's going on in Guyana. And together, all of us can be a voice and make a difference and make a change. And I see Nalini Naidu, thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Bobby Harilal, tonight, this is not about a lot of song, like I said before. This is a program about, it's not entertainment. It's about, we are sharing I'm sharing my story. Next week will be a different story. All right? So let's go to a song. That's right. One love, and love can conquer the world.
Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Say it, let's get together and feel alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let them all pass all the dirty remarks. One love. There is one question I'd really love to ask. For the hopeless sinners who has hurt all mankind. unity on one love. So when the man comes, there will be no doom. One song. Have pity on those whose chances grow thin. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation. Yeah, yeah. One love. What about the one love? What about the let's get together and feel alright? I'm pleading to mankind. One love. One love. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. So let's come and get together and feel.
Welcome back to Island Zone Radio. This is the Ken Rampersaud Show. So glad. I want to say, Nanda Hemorrhage. You know, I do so much correspondence with so many people on Facebook, and so today I was talking to Nanda Hemorrhage. I'm so glad you're tuning in. I'm so glad we crossed paths together. I hope that we will continue to talk to each other and help in any way we can help. So again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Island Zone Radio. This is the Ken Rampersaud Show. Today is the first day we're launching this here in New York and on Island Zone Radio. And like I always say, I want to say thank you very much for DJ Fest for allowing me to do this on Island Zone Radio. And to my co-host Shanaz Hussein, you will check us out tomorrow. And no, I'm not leaving Shanaz Hussein. We will team up again tomorrow. We are the team to beat, I always say. And such a pleasure working with Shanaz on a weekly basis. We have so much fun. If I be very honest with you guys, I have to tell you guys this, and it's a little sad, but the funniest thing, and I always say this, I hope that she's listening, that one day we were in the studio, and I always I like to wear sweatbands, and one day I was standing. The funniest part of our show, really, we were talking. But let's put it like this: we are having so much fun doing this show here on Island Zone Radio. So a lot of people ask me many times, Ken, how did you really get into birds? And I remember Dr. Dan Paul Narayan. He wrote an article on me on the West Indian newspaper here in New York. Very kind of him to focus on me in the newspaper. The thing is that many years ago, I was driving in upstate New York, which is about 6 hours away from Queens, and my friend stopped at a pet store, and I saw how they were hand feeding the birds, and I said to myself, "Wow, that's interesting how they are feeding these baby birds with their hands." And I said, "I would like to do that someday." And so I started to breed my own birds. The first time that I showed a bird, my bird won Best in Show. But you know what? I had bought the bird, so it didn't feel that good. I mean, but still, you win the Best Bird in Show. And so I start to buy birds from different places. I travel the length and breadth of the United States, from California, Texas, Florida, all of New England, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Baltimore. Actually, because of the birds, it allowed me to travel so many places. Puerto Rico, Canada. I am also one of the top exhibitor of birds here in the United States. So the birds have really did well for me. And it really helped me because, working hard, dealing with the birds, dealing with these difficult patients sometimes, the birds is really sometimes where I find my little solace, and I feel comfort dealing with the birds, especially when you get so much babies. And the birds, actually, I got second at the United States Nationals in Chicago in 2016 and 2017. I got 9th place. But my goal actually next year, I will be focused in winning the United States Nationals. I believe I can do it. I got second. I can do it. There is nobody can stop me. If I don't win it next year, some other time, because I know what I'm gunning for and what I'm looking for. And like I tell people, in life, you call your own shot. Don't let nobody call the shots to you. Because if you look at life really, a lot of times, a lot of people just what they want to do is pull you down rather than push you up and help uplift you. So you will have to know what kind of relationship you have and what you have in this. And so I always try to strive for excellence, nothing but excellence. So the good thing is that, you know what, to become a judge, it was very difficult for me because I am from Guyana and a lot of birds I did not see, never saw before. And so we had to study so much. You have to know the bird wing and the tail and how much inches the tail should have and all these things. You know, the head should be round, which bird head should be a little flat. So I've learned all these things. The first time I did the test, I actually failed. It's so high because the marks is 90% you have to get to pass. I got 85% and I failed. The next time I went and I did the test, I failed again because I got 75%. And the next time I went and did the test, and the third time, I aced that test. And the reason why I'm telling you guys is that if children listening, you don't have to stop because you fail. Failure does not define who you are really. You can do great things despite you fail. And you know what? And despite I failed so many times, I passed again. I'm one of the junior judge here in the United States for birds. And luckily, I was so honored to judge the National Bird Show here in the United States in Chicago 2 weeks ago. I became the first Guyanese to have done this, to judge a National Bird Show in the United States. And, you know, it was such an honor. And like I said, everything that I does and I do good with and I excel in, I count it a privilege and it's a blessing in so many ways. I count my blessings. I always count them 2 times, and I always appreciate all the good things that happen to me. Even to some of the bad things that happened to me, I'm still grateful for, because you know what? When I was in Guyana, actually, I wanted to, since I failed all my tests, I was said, you know what? I'm going to be a policeman. Let me go be a police. And I went to try get into the police academy 2 times, and they said, no, you cannot get in there because you were too short. So guess what? That was disappointment. And back then, I look at it, I was bad thing that happened to me, but it was a good thing. You know why? Because it helps me to get into nursing, or else guess what? I would not probably do so well in the United States of America. And I always tell people, you know what, none of us is better than anyone else. Whatever you choose to do in life, do it. Even if you pick up the garbage, or you sweep the floor, or you're a police officer, a nurse's aide, or a nurse, whatever you do, always, I said a couple things, always choose to do the best job you can. Always shine. Do whatever you can. And you know, yesterday while we were driving from coming home from New Jersey, I was telling the kids, you know what, always be honest to yourself and be honest to people. When people find that you lie to them, you have nowhere to go. And I tell them, I said, you lied to me, anyone lied to me, I don't play that easily, because my mother always tell me, if you lie, you can thief. And you know, that is not a good thing. So I'm so glad that I was brought up with those kind of things. You know, always good to do good. I see Liz Puderman. She's locked on. Thank you very much, Liz. Always, I like how she share her good stories on Facebook. So glad. Continue to make a change too, and we all make a change in our own little way. Roshni David, thank you for tuning in on this program. Let's see. I see Sandra Kishore. She locked in. So let's go with another song, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, you're watching the first episode of the Ken Rampersaud Show here in New York and on Island Zone Radio.
Hello, it's me. I was wondering.
I love this song.
After all these years, you lied to me to go over everything. They say that I'm supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be when we were younger and free.
Hello to my little friend Shreya, listening all the way from upstate New York. A beautiful soul. I love her. She's a little girl.
Between us, a million miles. Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you sorry for everything that I've done, but when I call you, never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Clearly doesn't tell you apart anymore.
Conqueror. Hello, how are you? Well, it's so typical of me to talk about myself. I'm sorry. I hope that you will. And did you ever make it out of that time when nothing ever happened? It's no secret that the both of us running out of time.
Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you sorry for everything that I've done, but when I call you, never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Clearly doesn't tell you apart anymore.
I'm tell you about no. I'm so sorry, baby. Oh, girl. I'm tell you about I hope you hear me, baby. What about Bam Skeng? Rosie and Conqueror, I tell them again.
That's right, guys. Welcome to Island Zone Radio. This is the Ken Rampersaud Show. Today is the first day I'm on program, and I want to tell you guys, and I have to remind you guys again, this is not an entertainment program. Moving forward, I'm telling my story today, but moving forward, I want to tell you guys stories. I want to highlight our own Guyanese story. I don't care if you're rich or if you're poor. I want to be the platform. Let this station, let Island Zone Radio and my show be a platform for you. Like I said, if you're poor or you're rich, you have the same value to me. I don't care, whatever it is. And just give me a call if you want to come here. Also, you know what I'm thinking? If you guys want to make any donation for Guyana later on, no problem. We want to make a difference, and I'm going to team up with a lot of you guys who really want to make a difference in Guyana. And if you want to sponsor any program here anytime, let me know. Let me see. John Nimmat, who has been with me all the way. Nalini Naidu, thank you so much for your support. Maria is listening. Maureen, thank you very much for always sending some good stories to me, and every day I receive so many stories from you guys, and I read them and I pay attention. Maureen Ramcharan, thank you so much. Lena, thank you so much. Nandini Naidu, Nandini Sabajo, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, Lena, thank you. Maria Chai tea. Guess what? I'm not doing chai tea tonight. I'm doing some water, but after the show, I love to have my coffee. But let's see if some chai tea will work. Let's see who else we have here. I don't want to miss anybody. And Angela Ramsaran, thank you very much. I've known Angela for many, many years. We start listening to this radio station. I forgot, Lord, which radio station I forget. Oh, it's B Radio in New York. We start to listen to that program for such a long time. So, Angela and her black cat, she always making problem with that black cat. Also, I have for Glenora guy, Mr. Don Isahak. Thank you for always supporting me. And to Raymond Hamid, thank you very much for locking on my program. Like I said, this is the first time. Annette Deo Prasad, I know her family from Guyana. We used to attend the same Presbyterian church in Guyana. I'm so glad that we are connected, and she's always supportive to me. Let's see who else we have here. Now talking about police forces taking any heights. Oh, that's a good thing. So Bobby Hiralal, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for tuning into this. So how I get into radio. Let's see. Mobina, thank you for tuning in. Angela said, well, she's on. She said, haha, Ken, you were so funny. She's always funny. But she adds some life up to this program. So we will talk about how I get onto radio. For many years, I used to pretend I am on the radio. For many times, I used to be in the bathroom or driving my car, and I would say, this is Dr. Love and Z100 reporting for NBC News. Or I'll say, this is Ken Rampersaud reporting for NBC News in New York, and I'll come up with a story, and I'll report it in my car driving. But in my mind, I never thought I would be given the opportunity, because in my mind, I'm always saying to people, you know what, I am poor, and you know what, I'm not a popular guy, because, in terms of radio and in our community, I live very quietly. In the world, everyone knows me. Excuse me. So, guess what? When I joined the Caribbean Voice, one day they asked me if I would help launch a radio show, and I said yes. And was supposed to be 5 of us to launch that show. And so myself and Shalaz is the one who's the only one end up coming to the show that day. So it end up that she and I is the one who launched the show. And I was surprised in so many ways. You know what? To now, we nearly touched 20,000 viewers from all over the world, and I was so surprised. And I always tell Shanaz, I said, Shanaz, I am kind of surprised because people don't know me. A lot of people have never seen me, and so on. And to have this guy come on radio, I'm surprised that people are listening, which is kind of good. I'm so glad, and I'm so embracing that, and I'm so glad that you guys are embracing me on radio. So we continue and so the program keep coming, and you guys keep supporting, and such a good thing. And I really I got to tell you, I didn't want to leave it. Reluctantly, I resigned from the Caribbean Voice and from the Mind Body Connection. It is something that I didn't want to do, but when I wanted to resign, I consulted all my friends, who was close by, and I called Shanaz. In fact, I wrote Shanaz, and I said, Shanaz, that I'm going to resign from the Caribbean Voice and the Mind Body Connection. And when I say this, I said, Shanaz, I can't do this anymore. I said, I'm going to leave. I said, because, the show, actually, it was good, and I like it, and I enjoy it. But I got to tell you, I never let this show get to my head. It went straight to my heart. And I said to myself that, you know what, I don't know if I'll continue in radio anytime. And Shanaz, she keep telling me, Shanaz, don't go, Ken, don't go. Stay with me, and let's do this show. And then one day I said, Shanaz, if I leave, you are a popular girl. You will still do radio. You will get whatever you want. I said, look for another co-host. I said, you can get someone that's better than me to do your program with you, and both of you guys could do it. Excuse me. And, I was surprised that Shana said, Ken, I am not going to do the show without you. You are going to be my only partner. And that was so profound of her to do and to say. And, and I wrote her and I said, Shanaz, even if we don't meet back, if we don't go on radio together, one of the best thing that I could count my blessing, I could say is that Shanaz, I met you in this journey, and I will do well. I will do well. I will do good, because you know what? I have my nursing career. I don't get any money from the radio. It's okay. And then she said, you know what, Ken, let's do a show together. Let's do this together. Let's continue where we left off. And that is how I end up being on the radio. I wanted always to address domestic violence and suicide prevention, especially in Guyana. And so I'm so glad that I get the opportunity to do this radio program. It really will make a difference. And, I want to, when I was thinking of how I will do this, like I said, it's not an entertainment thing, because there's so much radio station that you guys could go onto, or people could go to if they want entertainment. They could get all the song. You could go to YouTube. But I want to be make a difference in my community. I want to address some of the things that people they don't want to talk about. I don't mind talk about like gays, lesbian, transvestites, all these things, because in my opinion, like I always say, that life is a beautiful thing and we all are blessed to have life. And so we should be watching our own life and be thankful for our own life and not worry what anybody else is doing with their life. Because I always say that at the end of our journey, when we go, we take nothing with us. No money, none whatsoever. All the money that we have, it will stay right here on earth. And you know what? I'll be very honest with you. I have learned all these things at an early age. Not when I'm on 60 and 70 or when I'm on my sick bed, I would realize that, you know what? I take nothing with me. I know that from long time, when I die, I go with me. And I always say, life is nothing to talk about. Being a nurse and work with people, I have seen so many things that happen to people. I see people dead and no one was by their side. I see people dead and there was no kind of someone to pray over them. They start to decay. I have seen so many things in life that it really humbles me. And I was thinking about myself the other day, and I have to admit that I said the higher I climb, the more I do, or the more I get into radio, I believe it makes me humbler than I was. I am such a different person from 2-3 years ago. I am not the same guy. I used to not play. I mean, I still not play. I mean, I'm serious with certain things. But you know what? I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Enough of talking. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation, how I look at with life. And so let's listen to a song, okay? And we'll talk. Remember, someone loves you on Island Zone Radio. Again, on the Ken Rampersaud, we love you. I love you guys.
Just be my guy. Someone loves you, honey, more than anything in the world. I'm so glad I'm the one that you come through when you need someone. Yeah, that's what my love is for.
top the screen with love sign. Come on, guys, love each other. That's right. Welcome to Island Zone Radio, the Ken Rampersaud Show. And it is so true that someone loves you. And, talking about love, I'm so glad I could talk about all these things. Nothing beat love. And it's good to be in love. I believe that when you love someone, you give them your all. You give them your best. And I can tell you with my personal life, like I said, I'm blessed to have Gita Rampersaud by my side. You know what? I probably fight once every 6 months, and I tell her I don't like to fight. I'm not a fighter. Even when I come home, I see her. If she starts an argument, I said I don't want to hear, and she knows I don't like to fight. I take a break from fighting. I've learned enough in my life. I mean, that doesn't mean to say that you will take advantage of me, and I will not say anything. I will say something, if you know what I mean. So, guys, again, I always spread love and share love. And I see Lee Nye says, "Can I agree with you? Real nurse work in real jobs. I am in the hospital on my feet 14 hours." Well, thank you very much, Lee, for all you do. Gita Balde, we love one another on Island Zone Radio. Thank you so much. And Susie Singh says, "Someone loves you too." Maureen, thank you. Angela, thank you. Uma Singh, thank you for tuning in tonight on Island Zone Radio, the first episode of Ken Rampersaud Show. I see Mary Lou Ramdani. Thank you for tuning in. She said, "Hola, tune." And that's right. I choose all these songs for tonight. I want to play nice songs for you guys. I know there's so many songs out there, but I want to play something. I want this radio station to be something of substance and to play good songs that what you guys gonna enjoy. And she said, "Good night, Kenneth, to you." And what a beautiful soul. I met her in Canada, and I have to tell you, she's always so light up. She's always so beautiful and well put together. Good to see you. I see my cousin Tala from Guyana. Thank you very much for tuning in, my dear cousin. Nandini Sabajo, Nanda Hemraj, "I'm not a fighter, I'm a great lover." That's a beautiful thing. And if you can continue to share love, it would make the world a better place. Sheila Mangar, she said, "Thanks for sharing your love." Love is cheap. It's not, it's free. You guys don't have to worry. I see Arvind Kedarnath, our DJ for tonight, and he will be our DJ. We have two more other. We have Rajiv Nandalal, who is DJing for us too, but these guys, they're taking their turns in doing this. Agnes Ramphal, thank you for tuning in. So we will have good shows for you guys, and in future we'll be talking about some diagnosis. I had a plan for a doctor to come on next week. I'll have to confirm that so you guys can know. We'll talk about diabetes, we'll talk about depression, we'll talk about sexually transmitted disease. All these things we will be talking about. All the things that you guys haven't heard probably on the radio, I will bring it to you guys. And please continue to share our program on Island Zone Radio as we log on. Please share, like, and leave your comment about the show. If there is any improvement you would like to see. And I apologize for the start shake up a little bit, but I was a little bit emotional when you have to talk. And today is my first day actually on this program, so it was not easy. I was all fired up, but a little nervous, when you don't have your co-host Shanaz around to. You're more comfortable with her doing things, you know what I mean? She gets to do all the computer stuff, but tonight I'll have to do them. So, guys, again, I want to say thank you very much for tuning into this program. Do we have another song ready lined up for you guys? And let's go, DJ. Enjoy, guys. This is especially for all of you that's listening tonight. Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio, and my name is Ken Rampersaud. I want to agree with Mary Lou Ann, what she says, and we must remember it's just a show, and we have to keep it clean and sweet for our listeners, and that's why I said, Mary Ann Lou, this show is not about competition. It's not about you always winning. It's about we come into this program and we have fun. We enjoy each other's company for 2 hours. You know what? Listen what we have to say. And you know what? I was kind of today before my show, I heard such a sad story, and I was telling someone that who's listening now about my story. And she said, "Ken, I do have a story that for you to hear." And it is true that her story beat me, but I didn't get her permission to say what happened. But I was drawn back, and it really took me back. And so we have to be kinder to each other, especially we are just tuning into the radio program. We don't know each other's personal life. We don't know the struggles that each other go through on an everyday basis. And so that's why I'm saying you guys need to be, we need to be good to each other, be kinder to each other, because it's just 2 hours and we don't know each other's story. A lot of people going through a hard time in life. Life is not easy. And it's tough, but if we support each other and if we give each other love, it will be a good thing and it will be uplifting to each other. And that's why I have the Ken Rampersaud Show. You know what? We can help each other, uplift each other. It's a show that we can share empathy with each other. We can see with each other. And if you have a beautiful story or something that you want to share with me, it's not a problem. Let me know. If you want to come on the program and tell me a story, I would listen to you and we will share your story. If you have a talent and you want to come and share it on this program, let it be. If you're Guyanese or wherever you're from and you want to come on this show, let me know. This is not going to be you if you're rich or you have to be rich and you have to be a celebrity to come on this show. It's not that kind of a party here. Like I said, there is room for everyone on the Ken Rampersaud Show. It's equal opportunity for everyone. Let's see. You will all be one day, Amaria says, and so always treat each other the way we would like to be treated all the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be about 2 minutes to the hour of 7 o'clock, where it's going to come to the end of this show here, the Ken Rampersaud Show. I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for tuning in to this program. I want to say thank you very much again to Island Zone Radio, the man himself, Ryan Jeffrey, for allowing me and giving me this platform so we can make a difference, and together we all can make a difference. And to my co-host Shanaz Hussein, I thank you very much for holding my hand and making those baby steps with me. I can fly, and I don't mean you're going to fly away with me, fly away from me. We are going to be working together. We will team up to do great work for Guyana. So we're going to leave you with a nice song. And the DJ was telling me he wants to play this for Shanaz. I'm going to say for everybody and Shanaz too. Until next week, my dear, join me and Shanaz tomorrow night for Chit Chat with Shanaz and Ken. Listen to the song, and until then, until next week, I'll bring you something nice. And you wouldn't be seeing any crying or any tearing, and nobody would say they cry on the program, okay? I think I did well. I didn't do that bad for a first show, knowing that I wasn't on radio and I'm not an experienced man on the radio. Until then, listen to the song. I love all of you guys, and thank you for tuning in, and come back again, okay?
Lonely, free cash in the kingdom. They call me so lonely. Here we go. Hey. I swear on my life, I thought nobody would have find me. I went in the night, thinking nobody would have seen me. But Tisha catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. But Tisha catch me with Naomi.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Maharani, for listening to the program tonight. Very kind of you.
They call me so lonely, lonely. They call me so lonely. We take a flight and went to our next country. We didn't mind what she couldn't find. catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. Patricia catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. Lonely, they call me so lonely. Lonely, they call me so lonely.
And yes, I would like to say special thank you to Miss Singh, watching all the way from Florida. Thank you very much for all you do and all the advice you give me, and for being so passionate about domestic violence and suicide in Guyana.
I tell Disha I went on vacation. She sent a drone to track my location. I tried to share my love like it's a donation, but Disha stopping me from outside affection. I swear on my life, I thought nobody would have find me. I went in the night thinking nobody would have seen me, but Disha catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. But Disha catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. Lonely, they call me so lonely. Lonely, they call me so lonely. I swear on my life, I thought nobody would have find me. I went in the night thinking nobody would have seen me, but Disha catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. But Disha catch me with Naomi, and I
Roxanne, that them young by style, that wasn't my choice, but let's go.
saw I end up so lonely, and I saw I end up so lonely.
So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching the Ken Rampersaud Show. Today is the first day. Next week, Monday, next week, Sunday, it will be a different tone of to the show. I will try to bring something of substance to you guys. So once again, thank you very much. Thanks to all of you guys. And do have a very pleasant week ahead of you. Okay, good night.
पीछे चलना
जी सकती नहीं मैं जी सकता नहीं कोई दूसरी मैं शरता भी न कहता नहीं मैं तेरे बाजो मेरा
3, 2, 1
सचिया मोहब्बत दे